of why do all these educated providers, all these dentists, orthodontists, why do they believe that crooked teeth is genetic? Because all five of the providers, or the dentists, I should say, that I've talked to in my city, they've all told me that my crooked teeth was genetic, and I just see that as bullshit straight up.
Yeah, I think that's what they're taught in school. And, doctors and anyone going through an American or a Western healthcare system are basically, uh, they're not really taught to think for themselves. I guess in the context of research they are, but not really. Even when they're doing research, they're doing it out of fear, in fear of the publication houses rejecting their work, and they're sort of catering everything to have better chance at being published. Everything they do is like, to become a doctor, you basically have to kiss ass of whoever is next in the process of, like, whoever is the next gatekeeper, whether it's the admissions committee, or whether it's the residential admission committee, or whether it's your research advisor, or whether it's your boss at the hospital. Everyone is just not thinking for themselves, and everyone is just plotting to appease the next gatekeeper. And that type of lifestyle is not entrepreneurial, right? It's the antithesis of entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurs are actual real problem solvers. They know that they're out there confronting material reality, and that if they don't bring value, they're going to fail. No one is going to pay them. They can't rely on some hospital hiring them just because they have some degree. And so entrepreneurs, people like you and I who have problems, and we're trying to solve those problems, and objective reality is the ultimate determinant of whether or not we fail or succeed. It's not like that in medicine. In medicine, it's just you learn from textbooks, you kiss ass to your supervisors and your superiors, and they're told that malocclusion is genetic, and you don't question things when you're going through med school.
Yeah,
you just don't.
That's why I find the problem to be, because it's kind of, in my eyes, it's kind of like a pseudo-religious way of thinking, like kind of like what's happening to like Mike Mew right now. So like you get these orthodontists and dentists in the UK who are saying that his argument is flawed because crooked teeth are genetic. But like the way I look at it is like, if you took them in the 1500s and they were astronomers, they would have lynched and willingly lynched Copernicus for like stating the heliocentric model. So like that's how I kind of see it. It's kind of a dogmatic religious approach to it, which is kind of sad really, because it's kind of contradictory, because they advocate for scientific integrity, but they're not willing to entertain perspectives that don't conform to their worldview.
You're absolutely right. And if you think that we are past the era where you could be burnt at the stake for having an ignorant or for we're not as enlightened as you might think.
Yeah.
When we learn about Copernicus, we're sort of taught that in a frame of like, oh, we're past this. We're so enlightened and scientific now. That is absolutely not the case. There's a lot of darkness in science.
Yeah, I fully agree. Mm-hmm.
And a lot of it is wrapped up as well in financial interest and political interest. There's also that angle to orthodontics too.
Yeah, unfortunately, once you go down this rabbit hole, you can't really see it the same way. So I agree with that. But like this is what I've also like tried to reason. But humans are the only I'll narrow it down to mammals. Humans are the only mammals like in existence to have malocclusion. So like I don't see how. Well, we did mention that because they're taught not to think, but like no self-respecting evolutionary biologist or anthropologist would make the claim that crooked teeth are genetic, because like even 500 years ago, not a lot of jaws had crooked teeth. It shows in the records, but why trust them when you can trust dentists? Am I right? Because they obviously know the development of human biology.
I agree with you, and I think it's absurd that our intellectual elite is so willing to entertain evolutionary theory when it comes to any other facet of academic understanding in science, but when it comes to occlusion, it's like all of a sudden we have our horse blinders on to evolutionary approaches to understanding. It's absurd.
Yeah, it's really annoying because, yeah, these days everyone advocates for science, but when it actually comes to the philosophy of the scientific method, no one's willing to entertain it. They just say trust the science or whatever, and you just blindly believe it. But that's a form of religious dogmatism, from what I can see. So yeah,
Yeah, I
let's
don't know how much people are really interested in science in so much as they are interested in weaponizing science to
yeah,
advance their own agenda.
yeah, agreed.
Science is like science with a capital S is a magic wand they want to wave over conversations to say no, I'm right, you're wrong.
Yeah, I see it being weaponized. Whenever you just provide an argument they don't like, they'll just say science proves it otherwise or something like that, some bullshit explanation.
Correct.
Yeah.
Completely agree.